Okay, this is the last news story for right now. Box office. Star Wars 9 must prove Last Jedi did not ruin Star Wars. Well, he kind of already lost here. In the past Monday, 3-year anniversary of the domestic release of Star Wars The Force Awakens, Saturday marked the last 1 year mark of The Last Jedi, which everybody hated. Actually, 50% of people hated and liked. Which is not good for a Star Wars movie. And today will be 1 year into the domestic debut of the untitled Star Wars episode I Act. As history follows, we'll have a title for the 9th official Star Wars episode in over a month. The first teaser in April during the Star Wars celebration, and behind the scenes videos in SCTC and SWI, and then a final trailer in October during Monday Night Football game. They will be putting a big emphasis on football. Actually, if you count the Thursday night preview screens, which show to be huge, today marks 1 year out from the opening of the third and final chapter in the Rey Kylo trilogy, which will finally be over. The suffering will finally be over. If being built in the final chapter in the 9 movie, not counting spin-offs in the Skywalker Solo saga, stemming from the original trilogy, the Empire, Star Wars, and the actual good movies, and the prequels, and then the Disney movies, that pitch next year's Star Wars story is not the end of the current trilogy, but the end of the Skywalker Solo saga, which has spanned 42 years. Which means its marketing book, it won't hurt that most of its alleged competition, Wonder Woman, James Bond, and Death on the Nile, ended up moving to 2020. Since we have 1 year anniversary of Last Jedi, we had a certain amount of online reiteration of Ryan's answers to the controversial middle chapter, and also him attacking the fans as well didn't help at all. Those who really loved it argue that it was not, and the negative feedback came from online solely a vocal minority that represents the general audience. Really, 50% of people on Rotten Tomatoes say the movie is bad. 50% of people say the movie was bad. Same thing on Metacritic. 50% people said the movie was bad. Telling me it's a vocal minority, like, yes, people hating Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are now basically a vocal minority as everybody's playing the game, sadly. But Star Wars hate, the people who don't like the Last Jedi is not a vocal minority. Okay, it's the same reason. It's like saying that people hate the prequels. People who hate the prequels is a vocal minority. Which some of the prequels are okay. To us, and basically, I'm gonna summarize this basically if they're comparing it to other movies. Getting to the, we hope, vocal minority that essentially took over critical discourse over screaming goals, minorities, non-by Star Wars. There's a preference and an even financially successful franchise. Let's look at they're comparing it to Batman and Matrix. Creating 6 months after Matrix reeled on $742 million. Hack like the last day, the initial pre-release videos for Matrix reels were positive. Whereas after the film opened a vinyl record, 91 million, and those who did not care for the flash rate nearly equal. And all 3 Matrix movies are good, of course, according to that person. It's your opinion. And then we had Divergent also bombing. And then Batman v Superman had Justice League. And we had another example of the pilot movies, and they're using examples of those pilot movies too. Then Transformers 2, and basically other movies as well. Skyfall are not making $1 billion worldwide. With the best evidence last night is relatively John Turn to compare to Force Awakens. Influence demand for the Return of the Jedi, which is 1.3 domestic versus 621 million versus 920 million for, which is 1.35 billion to 2.25 billion. Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones, basically, and compared to Star Wars and Phantom Menace. And the respective initial domestic feature each Star Wars had a peaked on the first chapter, hit bottom in the second, and then recover a bit to a capper. If Star Wars Episode IX recovered, then the Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith. Star Wars Episode 9 will earn around 700, basically this amount of money next year. After all, fewer folks will go see movies that see it. This may happen as fewer folks go see movies at the end of 1903 and 2005. We're on the way of the year competition with Disney's own boring Frozen 2 and Jumanji 3 a week prior. You've also cast on the same day and a similar super budget movie like Star Wars Episode 9. Power on Course was released in 2005 and even 2002. And there's also other Disney movies coming out next week. Let's see, it's all next year. All these movies. But Star Wars is in, because if people really want to see Star Wars, then The Last Jedi will have not dropped that hard domestically. It will have not. It will go similar to The Force Awakens. So let's look at the Avengers movies. They had very similar grosses. And one of the Marvel movies had the year by movie over a movie up. Like the 4 movies. First movie, $400 million, $480 million. Second movie, $600 million. And basically, they're talking about how it's going to be a 2.8 million copy and stuff. But basically, Star Wars Episode IX, sometimes it just, movies sometimes take a big hit. Let's look at Jurassic World and Jurassic Park and Matrix, for example. Those movies had really low forward grosses compared to the first 2 movies. And it's a precedent for Star Wars movies. Disney will probably need to reboot, will probably try to reboot Star Wars again. And it'll be the same thing, and it'll probably flop again if Disney does not learn the lesson. The problem with Disney is that they want to make things too kiddie. Star Wars is already PG, so it's not a problem for Star Wars. But for other films Disney has bought by Fox, we all know them. The movies that Disney bought by Fox. And yes, Disney has bought Fox. They're going to buy it next year. So basically now a whole Fox's lineup will be going to Disney. Which is pretty sad because many great franchises will be going away. But we're going off topic. Star Wars used to be a great mystical franchise that everybody liked. Now, it's a cell of its former self. Kind of like several other franchises, Star Wars is just being used to make money. That's all it is. Instead of actually telling a story, it's just telling whatever Disney wants to tell instead of actually telling a story that people want to care about. Killers that people care about. No one cares. Not many people. Maybe Way is that people care about her a bit. But does anyone care about Finn, Rose Tico, Holdo, or Kylo Ren, or Snoke? No one. Probably except for the 50% people who actually like The Last Jedi, who will be probably watching the episode IX, who are the same people who watched Solo, which is the reason why that movie flopped. And the fact that that movie was a spin-off as well didn't really help Solo at all. And the fact that L337 ruined the entire movie didn't help either. But this is just proof that nobody really wants to. But we still have to wait for episode IX to sell. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And let's wait until the day when episode IX releases. Or 9.